My name is Oscar Casino, and welcome to a new segment I like to call Who the Fuck Is That? Now, basically, all this is that I'm going to be talking about either characters from games, movies, or shows, or actually anything that's going on in the world right now, and talk about the ones that I don't know who they are. Reason being because, I have a busy life, trying to, find work or going to school. Everyone tends to be busy. So, with that said, there's someone I want to talk about that's actually been around for 10 years.
Block off, Featherface, or you can stick around and find out the hard way.
Here's the thing, and you gotta remember this. I don't know who Dante is, or what he's about, or any of the other characters. Alright? So, if I say anything wrong or anything, yeah, say that I'm wrong, but just remember, I never played the game before. I'm not doing a review. I'm talking about why he never caught my attention. Okay? Now, back in 2001, Devil May Cry came out for the first time. Came out for the PlayStation 2, and I believe that was the system at the time. It didn't have an exclusive game to Xbox. So, all I know is that from what I've always seen a trailer a long time ago, and there was a commercial. And the commercial was pretty cool, and it showed a lot of fast gameplay. He was using guns. He had a sword, different attacks. Which, in a way, I was like, hey, maybe I could play that game, So, one day I told my mom, hey, can you buy me this game? And then she looks at it and says, no. I'm like, why not? Because it's rated M for mature. And I was like, flip. So I couldn't get the game. And I was bummed out, but then, my brother somehow, some way, he borrowed a game from a friend that basically kept me occupied for a good 2 or 3 years. And it was Grand Theft Auto 3. That game kept me occupied for a long time, and I was totally forgot about Devil May Cry. So years kept passing, it was already year 2004. By then, Devil May Cry 2 was already out. It came out a year before. And this is where things changed for me, okay? Now, I was already, for the ones that know me, y'all knew me as a nice guy. And the ones that knew me as a child know what I'm talking about. Life was also a nice guy too. But in the year 2004, that was like one of the worst years of my life because of the fact that there was a lot of problems within my family, and not just that, myself. I wasn't a happy child. I was trying to look on the brighter side of things, but I couldn't. Until the end of that year, I found God. And trust me, without me finding God, I think my life would have ended horribly. But anyway, after I found God, I was already teaching, Sunday school. I was helping them, find things and finding more things about God, learning their commandments, learning their prayers, teaching kids how to do everything. Until one kid came up to me and said, what do you feel about the Devil May Cry games? Because around that time they were making a 4, if I wasn't mistaken. So at that time, I told him, look, these games you're not even supposed to be playing because they are too young. And also because of the fact that it goes against from what the church is teaching you as far as how to be for yourself. And they understood me. and and they heard me out. And then this is where things were starting to go weird. Everything that I stood for when I was in church basically contradicted anything that anybody else would tell me. They would say, you can't do this, can't do that, and then I'll be outside of where, say, the church area, and then they're doing this, they're doing that. And that really bothered me. It's like saying, do as I say, not as I do, which is not the way that you should be, in my opinion, before anybody jumps on me. But I kept seeing that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just crumbled around me. And I thought to myself, like, I'm over here trying to set a good example, trying to be good, helping everybody that I can, dedicated all my time to church. And for what? What did it get me? It didn't get me anything. So, what's the point? Why was the point? And the reason why I even went to church was because of I was having a hard time getting along with my parents because of what happened. And not just and not just that too, while I had a problem with them, they had a problem with me. I didn't want to help them, I didn't want to do anything for them. Case in point, I was growing up. I was a teenager. And it just and it's like and it always ended up being to where I never got along with my dad that much, which is why I was in church. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, well, look, time has passed. I matured. I have a better understanding in life. I'm happy. I'm happy now for some reason. The reason why I would go to church is because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, or I didn't have the patience to tolerate them because they couldn't tolerate me. And it always been like that. Until I actually got the patience to go back and tell them, I'll help y'all now. I've already done what I had to do over there. And continue my life. Now, before I left, everything that I had helped build basically not just went away, but it was kind of pushed under the rug, and because of that, I didn't like. It made me feel like anything that I did didn't matter, even though I meant well. So, going back to what I was talking about with Dante, I never knew the character. I never really bothered knowing what he was until a friend of mine said that I asked him, what's the big deal about Devil May Cry? He said, basically all he is, and I don't remember quite correctly because he explained to me a long time ago. I haven't bothered looking up any research or anything. He's basically a son of a demon, and his mom was I don't know who his mom was. I never knew who his mom was, but all I know is that he was half human, half. I guess it made her human. I guess she was human, half human, half demon. And he had a twin brother named Virgil. All right, but basically all Dante does is he takes down the supernatural things for for money. And I was like, okay, well that's a good story back up, but that's all and he was trying to explain more. I go, you know what? That's all I needed to know. So time flew by again, matured even more until the year 2010 when Capcom announced the new game coming out, and it was the most anticipated fighting game that people have been wanting for over a decade. It was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now, who did they use to advertise this as a they did it as a trailer, but they used 8 characters. They used Ryu and Wolverine, Iron Man and Morgan, Chris and Hulk, and last but certainly not least, Deadpool and Dante. Now let me set the record that I love Deadpool. He's my favorite, one of my favorite Marvel characters in the Marvel Universe. Funny, chaotic, violent, crazy, improvised fighting style. The jokes that he says, oh my god, it always keeps me laughing. And it's funny. Like I laugh so much when I hear him. But then all of a sudden, from a point of view, for like, I'm mostly from the I love the Marvel universe more than the anime. My fan favorite goes up against one of Japan's fan favorites, which is Dante. Well, okay, well and I thought to myself, okay, well that's gonna be cool. Being Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Okay, well I wonder how this goes. Well, later that year, it came out, and played with him a couple of times. Like, I never really got online with him, but I just played with him a couple of times. And he has such a massive library of moves. He has the most moves than anybody in the game, simply because of what he does in his games. So they got me thinking, like, wow, like, he has so many moves that I guess he's used throughout the entire series. They just wanted to put all those in there. And when I saw it, I was like, that's pretty cool, like, but I never really started using them anymore. Oh, excuse me. So as time flew by, my views on religion hasn't changed. It's just that I'm not as active as I once was. Because of one, I actually, I'm a man now. Like, I actually grew up. And from times where people told me, you need God in your life, I go, I already have them. It's just that you, like the one thing that I see it as is like, why go to God and confess knowing that you're gonna do it again? And to me, it's like, if I'm gonna confess, it's like I really felt bad for what I did, and I'm gonna do it. Now, I'm not saying that I killed anybody or anything, but it's like I'm human, like, we're all human, like, we all make mistakes. But to me, it's like, I've never done any huge mistakes to be confessing. So time flies by, and now it's the year 2012, and I see a trailer that came out for a game called DMC, and I thought about it. I was like, Devil May Cry. Oh, okay, well, this must be number 5 now. I look at this trailer. It starts off as a newscaster basically talking trash to him, like literally bashing him, talking about how he's like a terrorist, how they're trying to find him, that he's a sexual deviant, and all of a sudden, like, some weird beings come out from under the water and just start attacking. Say, like, it's like a pure carnival. And then Dante jumps out of bed. Well, he didn't jump out of bed. He gets launched from his trailer, and he's literally in the air, butt naked, with a fish covering his crotch, something else covering his crotch, and then puts on his clothes while he's flying naked to getting out of the door. No, not even the door, the window. I was like, what the heck? And he's fighting all these creatures, and then the gameplay is looking like as I remember from replay the first time. So it keeps going, and the guy keeps talking of, we will find you, we will eliminate you.
Sweet.
And towards the end, one of the beings told him that he was the son of a bitch, and he just basically says, "I never knew my mom, but you wouldn't be the first one to call me," and he slices him down. I was like, okay, yeah, he has attitude. Until the very end of the trailer, the newscaster looks up and says,
Just doing God's work.
and to Dante's response, he goes, "Hey." He sticks up the bird like the middle finger,
Hey, Bob, put a spin on this.
and I was like, wow, like it took 10 years. 10 years for me to finally say, I want to play this game. I want to try it out. It took 10 years because of the fact that I had to be in the right sense to even say, I'm not playing that someone that's fighting against God or someone that's like playing against the devil, or I understand that they're like evil entities, that's what he's fighting. But he's human. Well, technically he's human. And the fact that the newscaster was judging him and saying that he was trying to do God's work, that's what, at that moment, I almost not wanted to play that game because of that fact when he said, just trying to do God's work. And I was like, oh, I don't want to play this game. Up until Dante says, hey, sit on this. And I was like, okay, you redeemed yourself. Like, I was about to be ready to not play that. And according to a couple of my friends, they're saying that the game is not actually continuing the story. It's actually, it's like the ultimate universe of the Capcom side, And it's weird. Like I never, like I said, what do the fans have to say about playing a game that has nothing to do with the ones that have passed before that? Some of them have been a little bit upset. Some of them have been, it's a mixed bag of emotions. And like with me, I'm like, I never played any of the original ones. In a way, I'm kind of glad that I did, because when I get to start from scratch with this one. But then I thought about it, what if I did play the old one? And I talked to some of my friends and said, do you think I should play any of them? They said, in order for you to actually feel how we feel about the game and see why we feel about this game, you should play it. You should play all the games that came out. And I was like, okay. So, now, there's a new collection coming out. Actually, it's already out now. It's the Devil May Cry HD Collection series, which is 1 through 3. And I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna play it for the first time. But this is what I want to talk about. Just for the fact that I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was about. But now, considering the fact that it took 10 years to actually get me interested back in the game again, I'm glad I waited. Because if I would have gotten it, I would have just not played it, period. I would have said, okay, just let it go. So if you have any questions or any comments that you want to do, please feel free to put them down. And as you know, I also play a bunch of other games too. So and here's the thing. Like I said, they're games that I don't even know what the characters are or what they do, because of the fact that they never catch my attention. And one such game I'm going to talk about will be the next topic of this series. Who the fuck is Dante from Dante's Inferno? Thank you very much. You have a good night.